Hi, my name is Stephanie and I'm a big fan of all things music, movies, physical media and pop culture. And today I wanted to talk about ways that I'm implementing going analog in my life. So obviously, just from this corner, you can see that I'm obviously a big fan of physical media and its importance. Physical media is super important for many reasons. Just off the top of my head, it is important that people own the things that they watch and listen to. Just watching things and listening to things on the internet isn't supporting the creators of these works. It also doesn't allow for this art to exist. If for some reason the internet was wiped or certain rights and contracts fall through, all sorts of things we've seen happen, things can just disappear if it only exists on the internet. And that is a very scary thought. There's lots of lost media from decades when before physical media was something that you could own in your home. And there's so many movies that need restoring and that need to be re-released because they're not on anything. They're either just on tape or just on DVD or on nothing at all. And that in itself is scary. And that happens with streaming as well. I think as well a lot of time is spent on our phones now, and I'm guilty of it too, but I'm trying to stop that because there's so much art and books and movies and magazines and things to do and life to live that I don't want to just be on my phone all the time and have it as my go-to thing to do. And I feel like that's a general consensus with a lot of people at the moment, considering so much of our lives have to be on our phone. So I thought I would just give my opinion and my ways about going analog as much as possible in this extremely digital world, and how to mentally live like it's like the 1990s or the 2000s. So I grew up in the 2000s, so I've lived with and without the internet. Now I've lived with having the computer being in its own room, and if you're going to use the internet, you go and you sit down and go on the computer. And I always liked that. And I think that's a lot better than now having just internet access all the time. I do love the internet. I think there's a lot of great things about the internet. I'm not anti-internet, but because we're on it all the time, it blurs the lines between real life and internet life. And I'm trying to be off that a bit more and just try to live my life and enjoy the things that I've got around me and do lots of things. And I have been, and this is ways that I've been doing it over the years. So in terms of music and movies, these are two things that I cannot live without, and these are two things that I will talk about forever and ever and ever. And my way of going analog with these sorts of things is owning all my movies and TV shows and my albums physically. I have a decent vinyl collection, but I mainly collect CDs. I have around 500 at the moment, I think, and I always buy new ones. There are a few that I have gotten in the last couple weeks and the month, and I like to buy new albums the day it comes out because it's important for the artist. It's important as a new release. It's just important to have. It's I first listened to this album on CD properly when I bought it, same as Olivia Rodrigo, same as the rest of them in my hands. It's important to listen with intention, and a lot of this goes back to intention. The concept of I've bought an album to listen to it, I'm going to put it on my record player or I'm going to put it on my CD player and just listen to it through and enjoy it. It's enhancing your life and your experience because you're focused on it rather than, oh, I'll just put on whatever, or I'll put it on shuffle, or I'll skip this song. That's not how the artist intended it. You should just listen to it from beginning to end. And with movies, streaming services can be really fickle with what's on it at any given time. A lot of the time people want to watch XYZ, they go to search it, and it's not on anything. When you curate a library of movies and things like that, you become your own Blockbuster, Video Easy if you're Australian, and you can watch whatever you want whenever you want. And lately I've been rewatching a lot of like classic movies, and I've been really lucky because all of them that I've wanted to watch has come from my collection. So I've been rewatching a lot of like Spielberg and Nolan and things like that, and I already own them. So I'm just going back to what I have. And it's just an important way to, again, live intentionally and knowing like, oh, I want to watch this movie, I'm going to buy it and own it and watch it, and I can watch it whenever I want and however many times I want. If I rent it, it's not going to disappear. I don't think people realize if you buy like digital copies of movies, you don't own it. It's just like within the library of whatever you're using. That's a whole other thing. But it's important. It supports the artists. It supports the studios in making more physical media so that we can continue to own and curate our art and not have it disappear on us. I think that's the other thing too, is like things like Letterboxd are great. I love Letterboxd, but I also keep like a film journal, and I also write out in another notebook the movies that I watch so that I have it on paper as well, because I like to keep track. Sometimes because we watch so much and there's so much out there, we kind of forget what we've seen. And it makes movies and music disposable. And when you think about it, it's really sad because artists spend so much time on their work and they're so intentional with their output. And then by the time it gets to the consumer or the fans, it becomes the thing of the moment and then like chucked away. But if you own it, it becomes part of your consciousness and a part of a time. Like, for example, when Olivia Rodrigo's latest album came out, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love, I bought it the day it came out and I listened to it a lot, and I listened to it on CD for the first time. And I purposely was intentional with how I listened to it because I was like, I want this to be attached with this period of my life. And it was like a solid 2 weeks that I was just mainly listening to that, and now I know all the words, and now I love it, and now I have that tinge of nostalgia for it, even though it was like just over a month ago. The next thing I wanted to talk about is books and print media, like magazines and things like that. It is like so important that we all read. I used to be a massive reader, and I've noticed that I wasn't reading as much as I should. Like I used to read a lot and then I stopped, and right now I'm focused on reading again. I was reading earlier this year, I was reading Al Pacino's book, which is here in front of me, and I want to read more and not be on my phone. So instead of going to pick up my phone, I want to pick up a book or a magazine. I've always been into magazines, but lately I've bought a whole lot. There are a couple next to me. It's just fun to flick through and see the photo shoots and to read the articles and things like that. Like, it's so much more fun to sit and be intentional and be like, I'm going to look at these pictures, I'm going to flick through these and all of that. And same goes with a book. When you commit to reading a book, obviously you can stop anytime, but when you really want to read a book and you commit to it, it's the best because you have that motivation to keep reading and to keep learning. And I think that's another thing that's important. It's that aspect of like gathering information, gathering facts, and making yourself think, and not just numbing yourself when you just scroll and see nothingness over and over. I just bought these the other day. I'm keen to look through them and read them as well. So it's also important because it keeps people of these magazines in jobs, these writers, these art directors, these everythings. And print media is so important because it should exist. I get extremely sad and concerned when like a big magazine is like, we're going all digital, and I'm like, I want to be able to hold this and read it. And as someone who like actively goes to like news agents and shops that sell magazines, I'm like very conscious of this, and I encourage people to obviously curate and buy physical media because it's so important to hold things and to own it and for it to exist. I also bought this the other week, and it's a copy of the Face magazine, and it's got Matt Dillon on the front. It's from April 1991. I like to curate older things too and collect things because it's important to have and to own. The next thing is writing and having notebooks and notepads and journals. I've always been someone that journals and loves to keep track of my life in that way. Being able to open up any journal of mine and be like, oh my goodness, good on me at the time for writing so much detail that I thought was maybe overkill at the time, but actually feels so necessary in reading it back. I can full set a scene in my journals, and I have so many, but I just found these, which are the journals that I brought to Italy last time I was there. And I think I started with this one, and I just wrote so much, and it's just so special to have all these memories written out and not just like random photos on my phone. And it's all like intentional. Like I remember every night, oh my goodness, every night just like writing a little bit. And you'd have like these like early mornings and late nights, but I'd make sure that I wrote something down because I was like, I do not want to forget this and I do not want to lose track. And the last couple months I hadn't journaled for a bit, and I'm like, so much has happened and so much has changed that I need to sit down and write. And so I have been doing that, and when I do that, it just makes me so much more calm. And I'm like, I feel calm knowing that this part of my life and whatever's happening now is being documented, and I'm gonna look back on it, you know, in a couple days, a couple months, a couple years, 20 years, 100 years, and be like, oh my gosh, yeah, remember this was so fun. In terms of like keeping notes and like writing lists, I've always written to-do lists on paper, and I always enjoy ticking it off rather than having it like digitally. And I always keep diaries, and I always write down things that have happened and things that are coming up in my diary, because I like to keep track like that and look back in my diaries too. And if I like to write a to-do list, I just write it on like, you know, there's like little notepads. I have them in my handbag, and I just write them like that because I like to have it like that with my handwriting instead of like just typing it on my notes app. And this year I started keeping a media diary. So every week that I listen to something or buy something physical media related or watch something, I write it down in this diary. And I like doing that because you see how over the week it's like, I watched this movie and I listened to this album and I bought this CD and I bought this vinyl and all things like that. And it's just good to keep track, and it's good for your memory, and it's nice to have these memories all together. This is like another one, and this is more something I want to do again. When I was younger, I had a DSi, which is over there somewhere, and I always enjoyed the escapism that came with playing those like nice little games. Like I have a Switch and I don't use it to its full potential, and I recently bought Stardew Valley, which I don't think is a game that I'm very good at. But I loved Animal Crossing. I bought Animal Crossing in lockdown and played it a lot then. And every now and again I like play it. And I really like Lego Harry Potter. That's really fun. But I was like, maybe I should get another Switch game and try playing like a game again instead of like scrolling endlessly, you know. The final thing I've been doing in a way that's a bit more analog is my photos and videos. So in order to be more intentional with my photos and videos, I've been getting into taking photos with my digicam, which I've always done, and with my handycam I enjoy taking videos. This is my handycam. I bring it everywhere and I've shot many things with it and I love it. It is the best, and I love to like put it all together and watch it all play out like a movie. I've brought it overseas, I bring it on every trip, I bring it to gigs, I bring it when I'm with my friends, and then it's just nice to have all these memories there. I grew up around camcorders and handycams, and it's important for me to document a life in that way as well. Then in terms of photos as well, I've been using my digicam more because the photos when they come out are so much better and they have this warmth to them that phone photos just don't have. The other week I bought my first film camera. This is a Kodak one, and I just finished my first lot of film with it, so I'm very excited. It's gonna get developed very soon. Then I was given these two cameras as well, and so I'm currently playing with them and I'm going to test them out. I've taken a few photos on these, but I'm excited. These are both film cameras as well, so I'm excited to take photos and get them developed and then get them printed and then do this. I've been making photo albums for the last little while, and this is a photo album I just made for a trip. I'll show these photos because they're all just me in a hotel room, but I love putting together photo albums, and I love it tying off like a trip or a part of the year or whatever's happened. And let's see, and this photo album's fun because it has film photos in it and it has digicam photos and then phone photos, and you can tell the difference between them. And that's why I'm like a bit more fixated on having photos that have that warmth the way that my photo albums growing up all have. And I'm very excited because I've got like 2 rolls of film being developed now, and then I'm going to print them straight away and put them in albums and keep building on that, because it's important to me to curate my life and my memories and document everything and have it and be able to hold it, not just swipe through on my phone and just have any photos anywhere. I enjoy the aspect of being extremely intentional with what I have and it meaning a lot to me. So those are a few things that I'm doing in a way to be more analog in a way. And I think it's really important to consider these things. All of these things were the norm, and I'm glad to see people are very much into physical media and supporting print media and lots of different things like that. But I think it needs to continue and grow, and I'm someone that will not shut up about these things because it is so important. And it's also good to have and to be a person. And I just really love the idea of my photo albums and my movies and my music and my video camera and my other cameras, and just having my life and my journals and everything. It's just the best. So I hope you take this on, and good luck with your collecting and your curating and everything in between, and I'll see you in the next video.